Today on the show, I'm going to talk about my top 10 favourite persona from the Persona series. I'm really excited to talk about this because there's so many to choose from. They come in all shapes and sizes and themes and forms, and it's just such a great thing to choose from, so let's get on with it. I'm going to start this off by saying that all my decisions will be based upon the persona that are available in Persona 3 and Persona 4. I'm doing this because there are just so many more visually stunning personas available in Persona 3 and Persona 4 that they're much more likely to make it into my top 10 than ones in Persona 1 and Persona 2. I also feel like it will be a bit unfair to compare the two different graphics engines when one is so much more superior to the other. Orpheus, Izanagi, Io, Juno, Jack Frost, Pyro Jack, Disco Ninja Frog. The list of Persona seems to be endless, and choosing a top 10 was really hard, but I think I've managed to do it. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is my personal top 10 favourite Persona. They're not based upon stats, they're just based upon things that, for me personally, make them stand out, be it backstory, or a personal connection to that persona, or maybe even if I just visually like the look of it. So your top 10 is probably going to be totally different to mine, but I hope we can have a bit of a back and forward and a discussion of it in the comments. So if my top 10 is totally different to yours, please feel free to tell me what yours is. So at number 10 is Saiten Taese. He is so much fun to use, and you can definitely easily identify where in the world he's from, and that's something that's not always easy to do, particularly in Persona 3. His little line that made his personality kind of known to us didn't exactly stick out in my mind, but he was enjoyable to use nonetheless. At number 9 is Isis. Isis first appears in Persona 2 as the ultimate persona for the Magician Arcana. She then appears again in Persona 3 as Yukari's ultimate persona, and then she also appears in Persona 4 as the ultimate persona for the Empress Arcana. So why is that important, you might ask? Well, in Persona 2, you couldn't really tell what she was because the picture was so small. But in Persona 3, she was like this Egyptian satellite thing, and then in Persona 4, she was this badass goddess that you knew you did not want to get on the bad side of. And I think this is really cool because it's the Persona designers keeping in mind that for each person's mind that she comes from, she is going to look totally different. And that really fits in well with the lore of Persona because, well, that's what a persona is, a part of a person, and each person is totally different, so each persona is going to be totally different. While this is an important detail, I think fans didn't really appreciate it for all it was worth, so that's why she places number 9 on my list. At number 8 we have Suzaku. Now Suzaku is definitely one of the more forgettable personas, but he's definitely one of the more visually stunning ones in the game. And once you see him, you don't forget his look, even if you forget his name. I actually came across him from a picture on the internet, and I was like, oh my god, what persona is this and how do I get it? And I went out my way to make sure he was in my party. Now at number 7, we have Yukiko's third tier persona, Sumio Okami. I love this persona both in battle and visually. Now, when Yukiko's first persona evolved into Amaterasu, I was disappointed, to say the least. I don't know if it's because I really liked Yukiko's first persona or something else. I was just really upset with the design and it didn't really gel well with me. Then, when her persona evolved into Sumio Okami in Persona 4 Golden, I was stunned. I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful persona. I thought it was like the perfect representation of that character's growth. I just loved it. I loved using it in battle. Perfect for Yukiko. Fun. Moving on to number 6, and we have Kaguya Hime. Now, when I found out the princess from The Tale of the Woodcutter was actually available in Persona 4 Golden, I was just like, move out of my way, getting me a princess! And I did everything I could to have her in my party. And from the moment I got her, she stayed in my party. She was my absolute favourite persona. That was Persona 4 Golden exclusive. She was visually fun. I wouldn't say stunning, but she was definitely visually fun. She was really great to use. She had pretty decent stats. All round, great persona. Definitely great for Mari. Fun. Great. Yes. Loved it. Now we're into the top 5, and at number 5 we have Lucifer. Now Lucifer was in Persona 2, Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 4 the animation, which is an achievement in itself. In Persona 4, he is in the Judgment Arcana under the name Lucifer, the Rebel King of Hell. And he's also in the Star Arcana as Hel-El, the Lightbringer. And I think this is really interesting, because this could be taken as, like, myths are told in so many different ways that sometimes characters change their role or position or even their name. He's also visually okay, but I can say that he did stay in my party right up from the moment I got him to the final boss, but I didn't use him all that much, but because he had good stats, he stayed. Next we have Sukuna Hikona, and I really feel like this was the best initial persona out of the whole party in Persona 4, and I'll tell you for why. I really feel like this persona matches Naoto's feel as a character, and I honestly think that's really important when these persona are supposed to be these characters' true selves. And I'm not saying none of the other characters' personas do that, like Yukiko's does, Chie's kind of does, but what I am saying is Naoto's persona does it, goes the extra mile, and comes back with presence. Also, I always feel that Naoto goes a little bit underloved, along with Kanji and even sometimes Teddy, as far as the party goes. So, I don't know, that kind of drives me crazy, and Naoto's persona is just so good, and Now we're into the top 3, guys, so you know this is getting serious now. At number 3, we have Alice. Now, from a creative standpoint, I think Alice is genius. I think it's such a good idea putting a character from a fairy tale in the game as a persona. And you might be going, well, so-and-so was a character from a fairy tale that's made into a persona. Well, I clearly didn't remember them, so they couldn't have been that memorable, and that's probably why they didn't make this list. Design-wise, they do really well in marrying the innocence that you can only find in Alice Carroll, along with that quirky creepiness that you just see from this little dark child in various forms of media. She's a lot of fun to play, and on my first playthrough of Persona 4, it was actually rare for me to choose another persona, even if an enemy was strong against me while I had her equipped. At number 2, we have Messiah. If any persona is blatant foreshadowing, it's Messiah. Right from that moment that you first summon him and he says, "From this day forth I shall be with you," it's like, ah. And then when the protagonist dies and the protagonist isn't with you, was Messiah lying to you and is he gone? Or is he basically saying that the protagonist is still with the party in spirit and is watching over them, and oh my god, the feels of the protagonist's death are returning. Plus, do I even need to go into the design? His model is amazing. He doesn't need colour, which is a challenge on its own. Foreshadowing perfect. In battle, perfect. Just all round perfect. And finally we reach number 1. Now who could number 1 be? I've already said that Messiah is perfect to my point of view, so that leaves no one, right? Wrong. At number 1 we have Juno. A lot of you are probably surprised to see a passive persona at number 1. Well, let me tell you why. Juno is potentially the most pretty persona out of every party member, but that's not my reasoning. Fuka receives Juno when she says that she loves the ability that she has to connect people even when they're far apart. And as far as I can remember, this makes her the only character to directly reference her persona's unique abilities. I really think seeing a character's true self change in accordance with that character's desires is such a beautiful thing to see. It's like a physical manifestation of character growth, which, although the games do it very well, this is the only time that they've done it this well. Also, to my understanding, Juno is potentially the most powerful persona. Every other persona in the game has relied on the Dark Hour or the Midnight Channel to be able to be used, even under the influence of an evoker. However, in Persona 4 Arena, Fuuka just starts using Juno's abilities outside in Inaba, like, hey, how's everyone doing? I'm not in the TV world. What? Now, I don't know if that particular trait comes down to Juno or Fuuka, but it is the only time that we have seen a Persona user use their persona outside of the TV world or the Dark Hour. We don't know if the rest of the Persona 3 crew can use their persona in broad daylight. They haven't shown it, but they haven't said that they can't. Either way, all these things together really do make Juno unique and special, and design-wise she's amazing, and that's why she is at number 1. ItsSuperEffective! Okay guys, that is it for today. Please leave a comment down below telling me your favourite persona, or even your top 10 favourite persona. As always, remember to thumbs up this video if you liked it, and subscribe. My name is Faust, and this has been my first top 10 video, and it is super effective. Come on, let go the remote, don't you know you're ready on a jump for that. Turn us to the road, the book again on a go, but I don't use hey, I've been cousin. Loading, quickly reaching maximum capacity. Want it, gonna show some my identity. Get up on your feet, teeth down the world. Get your glance all the whole world. Stupid round down will get you nowhere. You look tough in your mind. We all drop it, amazing relationships. Life goes on with or without you. I swim in the sea of the unconscious. I search for your heart, cause in my truth Get up, it's time to get real. Can't control the steering wheel. Outside isn't about a mystery. Won't get out so easily. We are living our lives, so we realize what's happening. Hey brother, watch yourself. Grab your things, don't